สวัสดีค่ะ Today I am very pleased to inform you that the guest for our program is Dr. Kelly Franklin from Seattle University, United States of America. สวัสดีค่ะ
Swadika.
Dr. Kelly, could you share with us an overview picture of your teaching experiences in Thailand?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's always a great pleasure for me to come to Thailand and teach with your amazing students. I always am impressed with the intellectual curiosity of all of the students. They come from diverse backgrounds in terms of the industries that they represent.
Yes.
For instance, this past 5 weeks, I've interfaced with students that have come from your food manufacturing industry, the gaming industry in terms of creating electronic games for learning and development, as well as one of your leading airline industries. I find that when I come to Thailand, I learn just as much, if not more, than the students.
Really?
So it's an amazing experience for me to be able to come here and to teach. We create an exciting learning environment in the classroom and engage in many different experiential learning activities. Students are encouraged to work outside the classroom as well as inside the classroom, so that we're learning through a lot of different techniques and using different technologies so that we can explore different ways of understanding not only from our past experiences, but the different ways that learning and development are happening within different communities, not only within Thailand, within the United States, but within the industry throughout the rest of the world. So it's a great experience for me to come here and to teach at NIDA, and especially in Thailand.
Thank you. I think it is a fortune for Thai students that have a chance to study, to have class with you. Thank you. And then the Asian community will be effective in January 1st of 2016. There will be 7 occupations that will be able to move freely within the regions. The region is 10 nations, right? That is doctor, nurse, dentist, engineer, architect, also accountant and surveying qualification. Could you share with us your opinion on its pros and cons?
I think you have an amazing opportunity here in Thailand and throughout the region to have significant innovation and transformation on many levels. I think that as Otto Scharmer, who is a very popular professor at MIT in the United States, has stated, we need to move from an ecosystem to an ecosystem. And what he means by that is we need to move away from thinking in silos and to move towards more collaborative approaches to solving our complex problems. And I think that the region, with the movement towards a more collaborative approach in terms of 10 countries coming together throughout your region to look at the political, cultural, and economic conditions throughout this region, are taking that approach very seriously. I also think that you need to take into consideration some of the things that Europe needed to address in terms of the financial. So keeping a strong financial center in place to avoid any of the pitfalls that became issue within the European structure.
I was aware of that too.
Yes, and so I think that the Asian community is taking that those lessons to heart. I think that collectively we're better served than we are individually. So I think by 10 countries coming together and looking at what can be of service to the whole, meaning to this region, that you're going to be better served politically, security-wise, economically. And I think that if you keep into constant mind about the individual cultures that each of these amazing countries have, and that everyone keeps into mind that you can draw upon the beauty and the uniqueness that each of these countries brings to bear, but also create a shared vision that you all can work towards, that the problems and issues that may confront you, you're going to be stronger united
Yes.
than you are divided.
Thank you. This is so nice, and it's also give us so many things to aware. At the same time, we have to keep our individuality.
Yes, yes. I think that will be important, and I think we're best served by honoring the uniqueness that everyone brings,
Yes.
as well as understanding that if we can create that shared vision of what this region would like to be and would like to become, I think there's a lot of strength and innovation, and the areas that you're focusing on specifically to start off with, I believe it's in healthcare and architecture and infrastructure, and those are areas that if you take into consideration all of the countries that are participating, you can have amazing innovation and transformation in those areas.
Yes. Thank you. And our last question: what is your cultural experiences while you are staying in Thailand?
Well, it's always an amazing opportunity again for me to come to your beautiful country, and I am always touched by your graciousness and hospitality. That is always something that stands out among one of the leading characteristics that I encounter every time I come to visit Bangkok and throughout the rest of the country. I think what I'm touched by is the Buddhist culture that permeates throughout your people, and I encounter it in just my everyday experiences of interacting with people from the highest levels of your government to your corporations to just buying things at your street side market. So that's a wonderful thing to feel and experience as somebody coming from a far distance away. And also there's funny experiences, right, when you come from the outside. So, experiencing the tuk-tuks and the food that you have to adjust to, and just the traffic that is overwhelming, and some of those things. But you're always guided by this sense of community and graciousness of the people. And I think that I have been fortunate enough this past trip to be here for your King's birthday. And I think that I learned a lot about him and the family while I've been on this last trip. And I think that he has been a great leader in terms of setting an example for servant leadership. We learned that in the HRD program about servant leadership, and I think his example of giving back and giving back to the people is such a great example for not only all of the people of Thailand, but particularly for the School of HRD and what you're here in service of.
Oh, that's so wonderful. We are so glad we can hear your opinion, your idea about this. Thank you, Dr. Kelly, for sharing your ideas and having time with us. And I hope our team would be able to welcome you again.
It would be my great pleasure to be here again with you. Yes. Thank you.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
ที่ผ่านไปเมื่อสักครู่นี้คือเกร็ดเล็กเกร็ดน้อยนะคะจากอาจารย์แคลรี่แฟรงคลินจากมหาวิทยาลัยซีแอตเทิลนะคะ ท่านได้ให้แง่คิดเราดีๆเกี่ยวกับการใช้ชีวิตซึ่งทำให้เราเนี่ยรู้สึกว่าการที่อยู่ในเมืองไทยมีคุณค่ามากรวมทั้งความรู้เกี่ยวกับการเปิดประชาคมเศรษฐกิจอาเซียนหรือ AEC นะคะซึ่งหวังว่าความรู้เหล่านี้เนี่ยจะเป็นประโยชน์กับท่านผู้ชมรายการค่ะสำหรับในวันนี้รายการทาเล่าทึ่งก็ขอจบแต่เพียงเท่านี้ขอบคุณและสวัสดีค่ะ